Today we're looking at the newest AI bot on the marketplace, the ZenX, which is the market intelligence through news and neural sentiment analysis bot by Ms. Paulina Eremenko. This video is sponsored by our free Golden Time Bomb Expert Advisor. Take your trading to the next level through automating the London breakout and the opening range breakout. Click the link in the description to download the EA completely for free. So I actually use sentiment analysis in many of my Longbow Expert Advisors as part of the prop firm bundle. So I do actually know how to do this, and I thought it's interesting to kind of see if this developer is also doing it properly, and if so, perhaps we can all learn something. And here we're saying is that they're using an NLP, which is natural language processing, to scan like RSS, Twitter, economic calendars to effectively see whether or not the market regime is more aggressive, whether or not we should be risk on, risk off, etc. And she's also mentioning that this bot is also using clear price action patterns as the trigger to enter the market with, and that there's quite a bit of safety features here. One thing to note is that sentiment analysis can work, but you need to actually give a bit more context or detail as to how it works. And specifically what I do is I use Perplexity or Claude, which are both rather popular large language models, and via a web request to actually perform sentiment analysis. So what you do is users usually need to get an AI key, they put it in the bot, and the bot can make a web request to the model with a prompt saying like, hey, scan the news, is gold currently in a bullish or bearish market regime? And please read the news and give me a response back. And it can do that, it does it really, really well. And I personally use this to great success. However, the developer here does not seem to be giving any detail as to how they would do this. Specifically, if you want to actually use large language models, particularly those with web search, you need to have some sort of key, because like MetaTrader itself can't download, like you can't do this from an EA, like download all of this news data and then parse through it. Like you really need to be able to use some sort of third-party model like a ChatGPT, a Claude, a Perplexity, a Grok, and you need to have an API key to do that because none of these companies do this good work for free. And effectively here, there's not a tremendous amount of information being given. There's some fancy looking graphics. So it's saying, yeah, Neuro News module. So yeah, it looks a bit scammy to me so far because they're just like, they're AI washing. They're putting AI everywhere, but they don't actually show you how they're going about using it. So looking at the signal here, it's on WellTrade, so that's a red flag. If you're new to the EA business, if you see WellTrade, that's a scam broker. Don't trust it, and there's only a handful of trades, so we can't really make a conclusive decision on this one quite yet. And if we run a back test for ourselves here, I took the liberty of downloading it and running a quick back test. We can see that we're indeed turning $10,000 into $3.8 million in the span of a year. And as you guys will know, this is obviously completely impossible. If a back test is straight up with no detachment in the equity from the balance line, it's clearly a scam, right? So this is not even something which we should put too much time with. We're seeing a 100% win rate, so literally 100% profit trades, and we don't even have a risk reward here because it's going to be an infinite risk reward because there's no risk. It's 100% wins. And there's also, if we go into the inputs tab here, there's no place to put an API key. There's no place to actually query certain models. And if it was really based on NLP, you can't actually backtest large language models, and you can't backtest news models because, like, think about it logically. The most straightforward thing is you can't actually run web requests from the MQL5 strategy tester for security reasons. So, and also, like, if you ask ChatGPT about the news like on the 7th of July 2024, it might not necessarily be able to pull that properly. Like LLMs tend to be pretty finicky, so they couldn't necessarily even pull news in a historical context. What they're good for is being like, hey, give me the next 24 hours worth of news, the previous 24 hours worth of news, and help me project sentiment analysis going forward for the next 24 hours. Or you can say, like, give me this week's news cycle. Based on the current news cycle, are we in a bearish or bullish period? They're great at that, but you obviously can't use it in a historical setting because they're just not able to backtest in that way. So the fact that we're seeing this, despite the fact that most of the functionality should not be working, is just blatantly a scam. And obviously like a 100% win rate in trading with these magical return numbers is completely false. So yeah, this is like not even sometimes they try and get a bit smarter about it and be a little bit less sketchy, but this one is just like very, very blatantly a scam. So yeah, it's a clear history reader. We can see that it's pretty slow. They have these fancy graphics, which people tend to like in the MQL5 market. I think some people think if there's flashy lights that it's more fancy. Personally, I always make my bots like very ugly. Like there's not really a ton of graphics or visuals because like realistically it does not impact performance. So there's probably an inverse relationship between how pretty the bot is and its actual performance. Yeah, okay, we're not seeing anything here. The fact that they have a sentiment ID with no web request is also just blatantly false. This thing is just like flashing random numbers because clearly like there's no way that it's actually calculating that. Yeah, so blatant scam. I'll make this video pretty short because realistically like there's nothing here. This is not even a well done scam. They probably just have a large amount of historical data which is downloaded with the file, or it's reading forward or doing some sort of sketchy trick. But this is very blatantly a scam. Like 100% win rates unfortunately don't happen, particularly over a significant sample size, and having this massive amount of return is just crazy. So guys, don't buy this bot. It's not good. And yeah, hope you found this video useful. See you in the next one.